Hey everybody, I'm Lauren from Truer Words by Lauren, ethical copy coach and copywriter for coaches. Um, so today I want to share with you an email that I got from one of the most well-known copywriters in North America. She's somebody that I have spoken with personally in the past, and somebody that I've learned a lot from back when I was doing software as a service, before I was an ethical copywriter. And the email that landed in my inbox today, I found to be so disturbing and to so perfectly highlight what is wrong with the copywriting and the marketing community. Now keep in mind, her specialty is software as a service, and that is typically not where we find ethical marketers. As a rule, there are so many reasons why I switched from SaaS to my wonderful conscious coaches, and that's one of them. So I'm going to read this to you, and then we're going to pick it apart. I'm not going to name her name. I have a lot of respect for this person, but I do want to call out the tactics that she's advocating because it ain't right, folks. It ain't right. Okay, so the title of this email is Resting Rich Face, which is, she's very good with titles. Resting Rich Face. It's the still face experiment done at UMass years ago, where a baby tries to get her mother to react to her after her mother's face goes still. One of the takeaways from the study is that humans coordinate our emotions. Our facial expressions go a long way toward that end. So if you're a freelance copywriter and I'm your lead on Zoom with you, and I'm excited about the idea of what you can do for me, but you're not smiling or showing the same enthusiasm I am, my objective may be to try to get you to coordinate with my emotions. If I'm smiling, I want you to smile too. If you give me a tiny smile, I start to feel like we're getting somewhere. Okay, so first of all, that's the first paragraph. I just want to highlight how much psychology goes into this work. And that is true. If you are an ethical copywriter or a mainstream marketer, what we do is based on how human brains work and whether we choose to use that knowledge to manipulate them or to empower them to make the best decisions for themselves. That's where we draw the line between ethical and not. If you are me, you can draw your line anywhere you want. I advocate for your right to do so. This is where I draw the line between what feels right to me and what feels icky. So I'm going to continue now. Um, but what do most freelancers do on Zoom calls with leads? They smile a lot, which is why I started coaching my students to use resting rich face. Not always, but frankly, yeah, most of the time, with very few exceptions. Resting rich face is that look you have in a Zoom call where you're leaning back in your chair while your lead is leaning in closer to the camera. So if I'm the copywriter that she's talking about, I'm like leaning back like this, being a little bit too cool for school, and the other person is like leaning forward like this, super into it, right? It's that expression of being both interested and disinterested at once. It's the look that says, I don't need this, but I could want it. Are you feeling the ick yet? Because I'm feeling the ick, but it'll get ickier. It'll get worse. When you're in high demand as a freelance copywriter, you naturally acquire resting rich face. This is not true. But here's the thing about it. It's not very smiley, and that's because most of the best sales techniques aren't very smiley. Instead of joking with you, a successful salesperson often makes you want to impress them, makes you a little worried that you might disappoint them, is sort of nice, but not friendly. Is this starting to feel like a really toxic parent-child relationship to you? Because that is what it's giving me. Like I'm getting like, oh, this is unhealthy. This is not a positive dynamic at all. And honestly, if somebody is acting like they're waiting for me to impress them, that just makes me mad. Now, I don't have a ton of trauma around that. I personally don't. If you do, if you come from a family dynamic where you are constantly trying to impress your parents and they're withholding affection and approval, this technique is so manipulative. It is just taking all of that traumatic background and using it to make a sale off of you. So this is the moment where I'm like feeling a little rumbly in my tummy, like my stomach is actually doing some flip-flops here because I'm getting pretty mad. Just yeah. Okay, so then she goes on. Think about the high ticket items you've purchased, like the $20,000 coaching program. Yeah, you just got manipulated. The $5,000 handbag. I got no judgments about that. I love a good handbag. Even the $900 shoes at Neiman Marcus. The salesperson typically won't lay their friendliness on thick in the beginning. They'll save warm smiles for right around the time you're saying yes. And if you think that's accidental, well, think of how hard that baby tries to get her mom to smile at her, like she is uncomfortable to the point of shrieking when only 30 seconds later she'd been in a delightful mood. It's no accident that top tier salespeople use techniques like resting rich face to make you essentially audition to give them your money. Okay, ethical copywriter here. So I think just reading this, hearing it, if this is landing in your body like it's landing in mine, like, oh no, this is terrible. We are literally using early childhood trauma to make sales now and acting like that's the cool thing to do. There's another way. Let me tell you that there is another way. If you jump on a call with me, a tea date, if you're somebody who might be interested in giving me money to help you with your words, first of all, um, I probably won't call you a lead. I probably won't call you a prospect. I probably will call you something like somebody who might be interested in working with me because you're a person, you're a human. And I will be so interested in what you have to say. I will be leaning forward the whole time. I will actually be genuinely riveted because I love my job and I love my clients and I want to hear your story and I want to be able to help you tell your story. I am so into it. I'm not going to play it cool. I'm not going to play mind games with you. I'm not going to activate your traumas to make a sale. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? I'm not going to try to make you feel uncomfortable. I'm going to try to make you feel like you have been wrapped in a cozy hug and given a mug of tea. Maybe with a little blankie, unless it's hot out. That's what I want to create. That is the sensation I would like to create on my calls. I'm just going to read the rest of this so we can complete our journey together. So it's no accident that top tier salespeople use techniques like resting rich face to make you essentially audition to give them your money. They know we long for approval, access to a tribe we perceive to be safe, prestigious, fattened with security, acceptance. We get so uncomfortable without those things, we start crying. How can you use that insight to draw your leads closer to you? Are you being slightly sweaty in your sales calls right now? Are your leads currently practicing resting rich face while you smile too hard, wave your hands, and demand just a little bit of love from them? The last part of this is actually making me tingle from my toes to my nose. And I only do that reaction when the rage is so intense, it actually starts cutting off circulation. But here's why I'm mad. I want to explain it. That last part is positioning this idea that if you want a real relationship with, like, yeah, let's throw in some love. Let's get some love in here. If you want that, there's something wrong with you. You're not doing business right. You're not doing sales right. You're not doing copywriting right. You're not doing it right. That is not the way we do in ethical copywriting. That's not the way we do in ethical marketing. It's like building any relationship. You want to base it on trust, first and foremost. You want to base it on respect. And that means I consider you to be an adult, not a crying baby. I consider you to be an adult who is capable of making your own decisions. So my job is not to persuade you to do anything. It is to inform you, make sure we're a fit, and see if I have what you need, and let you make that call because you're capable of it, and you should. It's not my call to make. So what I would ask of anybody watching this, and maybe you're a copywriter who's just dabbling in the ethical marketing space, and you're like, oh, what's the way to do this different? Maybe you're a business owner and you want to know what the icky is so you can make a conscious choice to do something else. But what I want you to take away from this is, yes, we do need to understand how the human mind works. We need to know how trauma works in our clients, in our prospects, the people who might want to work with us. And we want to make a very conscious decision not to trigger that. We want to make people feel safe so their logic mind has a chance to make an informed decision that's going to be the best decision for them, not for us, not for the people who are trying to make the sale, but the actual best decision for them. Because then you're going to get clients who are super genuinely excited to work with you, and they are genuinely going to be an amazing fit. They're going to love what you do, and they're going to talk about you. They're going to say, this person is amazing. I had this wonderful experience with them. So much of my work comes through referrals. And I'm talking so much of my work comes through referrals because I create a space that is loving. And I am not doing that wrong. I think that's doing it right.